Coach, with the game tied at 91 with 4 minutes left, what did you see down that final stretch that allowed the Celtics to come away with this one?
I think they came up with 50-50 balls. The rebounding margin, we miss one, they get down, get a break, hit a big shot. I think going back, I have to look at the film to see exactly where we mishap there. I think there's some communication breakdowns and a couple pieces that allowed them to get out in the open court. And then just our level of communication, the attention to detail in those moments matter.
Jamahl, you talk about defending without fouling, and obviously there were some free throws at the end of that game, but they shot 30 of 32. How would you describe the way your team defended tonight and the amount of free throws?
How many free throws do you think came down on the backstretch after, like, we had to foul? What do you think it was, about 26 total maybe? It's too many. Foul a three-point shooter. Again, we were attacking the basket the exact same way. Now we've got to knock them down when we get there. That's a big portion of it. We had to understand that the whistle was gonna head in their direction after what's been said. So we have to continue to just be smart there, hold our ground, get positioning earlier, and make sure we show our hands.
As Dan mentioned, those last 4 minutes were the game in the end. What do you say to a team when they're struggling to execute down the stretch and you're watching, like you said before the game, a championship team kind of find their will at the end of the game?
Yeah, sit down and get stops to get yourself some easy baskets. I think they came down and hit some tough ones, some big ones. I think that's a big portion of it. Again, and then where we were defensively, being able to communicate the right things at the right time, I think that was a big portion of it as well.
Jamahl, you guys have subscribed to the theory that a series doesn't really start until a road game or until a road team takes a game. You guys are now down 3-1, heading back into Game 5. What was kind of the mood in the locker room after the loss?
Understanding that we've got a job to do when we go to Boston. You got to go take one in Boston and then bring it back here. That's the mindset. That's the approach. And this one stings. And but that's our reality right now. Down 3-1. You got to go take one in Boston to get back home.
And Coach. So Paolo had 31 points tonight, took 32 shots to get there. Did you like the looks he was getting, or did you feel like he was forcing it a little bit and forcing the action?
Well, I think they were putting bodies on him. I think he went to the basket a couple times. There was a couple hits, a couple grabs at the rim. His ability, those guys, that whistle didn't blow in his direction. But again, I think our ability to just continue to push the pace, get quicker looks in transition, I think we've got to continue to look to do those things as well.
In those final 2-3 minutes, you guys had just a couple untimely turnovers, some contested shots from Boston down the stretch. Do you want to see your team in those moments, especially in the final couple minutes, just get into your sets, a little bit more ball movement, or were you okay with the movement just there in the flow state?
Well, I think they collapsed the floor. I think, and as we were down, you have to speed the game up a little bit. So you're looking to attack to get downhill. Now, mind you, them collapsing, we can find a little bit more spray outs as they sink to the paint. But our ability, they had great job. They did a great job of having hands on the basketball, getting active hands just to get steals.
Coach, what did you think of Tatum's performance tonight?
I mean, he did a hell of a job. 37 points, 14 rebounds. I think he had a hell of a game. I think that's his ability to make tough shots in these moments. That's, again, I said it the other night. That's why he's an all-star. He's an all-NBA guy. He finds ways to get that done. So I mean, that's what he's capable of doing. And it's not necessarily what he did. It's like the others. You talk about Derek White stepping in for 18. Porzingis had 19, and we've been able to keep him at bay for a while. But he came and stepped in and played well.
I just want to clarify something that you had said a couple of minutes ago about the foul situation. I don't know. I don't want to mishear anything.
No, okay.
But did you say that you thought that the calls may go Boston's way because of the talk leading into the game? Is that what you
Well,
meant?
understandably. I mean, we talk about physical play, and that's in the way in which we played. And there was, you talk about the back and forth battle. I think our ability, and I always look at our ability to attack the rim. You talk about us going to there 34 times, us going there 36 times, them 34 times, them shooting, let's just say 26 free throws before the backstretch. You look at those margins, and it's very similar attacks, but it's not the same foul count. That's whether that's the physicality prior to or not. It's just something we look at.
You guys have learned lessons from each game in this series and improved. what's the biggest lesson that you can learn, even if whether it's for Game 5 or part of the longer project with this team from a game like this and going toe-to-toe with a team like that?
That's a good question. I think it's what we've been saying. It's in the margins, the small, minor details. I was saying from the beginning of the game, the 50-50 balls. They came up with quite a few of them. Again, it goes back to them having 11 offensive rebounds. Those are the minor battles. So the offensive rebounds, the free throw counts, those little things are where they win the possession battle, and we've got to continue to learn those things are in the small margins of the game.
Coach, this is the defending champions. You guys have been toe-to-toe with them, Game 3, Game 4. What's the biggest difference, you think, between the defending champions and you guys here?
I mean, again, it's those small margins. You think about the games that they've won. It's been the rebounding count. It's been us being able to take care of the basketball. You win, Game 3 because you turn them over a little bit. You win the rebounding count, the crashing the boards, the finishing possessions, the 50-50 balls. It's those little small minor details within the game that change the game.
Well, you guys have obviously relied a lot on Paolo and Franz throughout this regular season and obviously in this postseason as well. Just how have you seen them kind of labor through this series? And even though the effort came up short tonight, what did you like and what did you see from them tonight?
I mean, they're continuing to push and press to try to find ways to get the job done. And I've said it before with these two. They're trying to do their best to put the team on the back and get the right looks, the right rotation, all of these little things trying to do to put us in a position to be successful. And they're going to continue to do that, no matter what. So like I said, again, we go to Boston, you get one there.
Every community has a story. Ours began over 105 years ago.
Brought to you by Community Coffee.
From a simple belief that great coffee has the power to bring people together. After 5 generations, our family's still roasting smooth, rich coffee that builds community. One cup at a time. Community Coffee. Community in every cup since 1919.
It was a tie game with just about 4 minutes left. What did you see over that final stretch that allowed them to come away with the victory tonight?
Yeah, I think pretty sure it was 91-91. So 16 points, way too much. A couple offensive rebounds. Yeah, and we had to take the ball at every time. So that's when they can pressure us full court, and I think that took us out of our stuff a little bit.
Franz, what did you make of those offensive possessions and those looks that you guys did have in those final 4 minutes?
I don't think all of them were bad. I remember a couple open threes, a couple good drives. That's how it goes sometimes. But like I said, I think there's some things that we could have controlled a little better on the other side. There's always going to be plays that you look back on that you wish you would have did something different. But especially on defense in these close games, we can be better, and we just got to be better.
Through those first 3 games, you guys did a really good job of limiting Kristaps. He obviously had a coming out party tonight. Just how much of a difficult matchup was he on both sides of the floor?
Yeah, I thought they did a good job adjusting. He got us on a couple slips to the rim earlier, and got a couple easy ones like that. But I think he's a good player. You know what I mean? I think on some of those plays we could have done a better job, but I don't think that was the whole game.
Franz, the free throw count tonight was a little bit skewed at the end with you guys fouling at the end to try and extend the game. But what did you make of the challenge of trying to defend these guys without fouling tonight?
Yeah, I can't remember really. I mean, obviously it is a big difference, but I can't remember where most of them came from. But obviously, if you give a great player like that 14 free throws, that's when all these guys are really hard to guard. So, yeah, we just got to be better. And we'll be better in Game 5.
You guys have learned from the 3 previous games. What's the lesson that you want to carry over into Game 5 to kind of to swing this back in your favor?
I think that we control a lot of the stuff that happens in the game, and that we can play a lot better. I feel like we still haven't played our best basketball, and it wasn't all bad today. 91-91 with 4 minutes to go can go a lot of different ways. So we'll be better in Game 5, and make sure we come with the right mentality.
With all the emotion in this game, being at home, the energy that you guys got from the home crowd tonight, how do you kind of find the reserves, or how do you reset and find the reserves for a game elimination, Game 5?
Like you said, it's don't do or die. So, this is a great opportunity for us, and we're gonna get on that plane, and like I said, have the right mentality coming into Boston, and make sure we get Game 5.
Franz, when your offense is in the half court, how can your team get a little bit more productive there and be a little bit more efficient against their defense, which is almost as tough as Orlando's?
Yeah. I think in the half court, I think you need space. I think you need to share the ball. And when you do those two things and you have a purpose, I think that's what the good teams do. I think we struggled a little bit in that 4-minute stretch a little bit, and early in the fourth as well, with some of those things. And we'll clean it up, especially when they, have their smaller lineup in. Make sure we have some adjustments for that next game. And like I said, I think then we have a good chance of winning every game.
The game was tied at 91 with just about 4 minutes to go. What did you kind of see over that final stretch that allowed them to pull away and come away with the victory tonight?
I think they just did a good job of slowing the game down and getting whatever they were trying to do, whether it was a matchup or isolation. They just were making plays.
Paolo, you took 32 shots tonight. Just what did you make of your overall shot selection throughout the game, and did you feel like you were forcing any?
I just tried to be aggressive. I think there was like one stretch in the third quarter, shot like 3 in a row. I was probably forcing right there, but I really just was taking the shots they were giving me. They were trying to keep me from getting to the paint, and they just weren't falling at a high clip, but I had to stay aggressive.
Coach has talked a lot about kind of the plays on the margins, kind of digging out rebounds, turnovers, getting to the foul line. Is that one of the big differences that happened in those final 4 minutes that Boston was able to execute to pull away and get this one?
Yeah, I mean, you could just tell their experience showed. They weren't rattled at all. They was making big plays on both sides, offensive rebounds. They were, just really sharp, I would say, in those last 4 minutes.
Kind of along those same lines, then, you just mentioned that the experience that they have in moments like that, this is just you and your guys' second trip to the postseason, to the playoffs. What can you guys learn from a game like this?
Just that, you got to play a full 48 minutes of good basketball to win the game. When it's tied up with 4 minutes left, you got to really lock in those last 4 minutes.
To that point, just locking in on those last 4 minutes, just what did you make of those offensive looks that you guys had in those final 4 minutes?
They weren't very good for the most part, but and that's part of it. They kind of baited us into what they wanted us to do in terms of on offense, and then on defense, they got what they wanted. So, like I said, their experience showed.
What's the confidence level of the team heading into a must-win on the road?
Yeah, I mean, it's a must-win. You got to come out. You got to play free. Got to win 3 in a row if you want to beat these guys. So it's going to be a hell of a challenge.
Paolo, what can you take from games 1 and 2, the atmosphere in Boston, and what it's going to take to win there?
Yeah, it's going to take a special effort. I'm sure the fans are going to be really loud and, trying to, get their team over the edge to close us out. So we just got to stick together as a group. It ain't going to be too many Orlando fans in there cheering, so we got to create our own energy.
What was the energy like, the mood like in the locker room tonight, this being your guys' first home playoff loss since you guys have been here?
After any loss, you're going to be a little down, but I wouldn't say it was, extra or, too bad.
With all the emotion that comes into this game, a close defeat, a game that comes down to the wire, the energy that you guys get from this crowd, how do you kind of reset to find the energy to go out on the road where you said there won't be much support from anyone outside your locker room to try and extend the season?
You just got to come together, We've been here before, so looking forward to it.
At Duke Energy, we deliver electricity and so much more, like free home energy assessments, rebates for energy-saving improvements, payment options to help you better manage your budget, and even bill credits for helping the community use less energy. So no matter what you're doing, we can help you make better energy choices every day. It's just another way we bring power to your life. How much can you save?